I am here with Andy Scherer. Hey, Andy.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
I am awesome.
Great. So you own Pillar 9 Coaching, which I
Mhm.
love. Great coaching. You're also an agent, a real estate agent at EXP. So welcome to Real Estate Fight Club.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's great to be here again.
Again, yes, you were our first. Oh my gosh, you are our first.
I
Yes.
was the inaugural. That's right. Absolutely.
I think that is in our top 3 most downloaded episodes is the one that you were the tiebreaker on of
That's
should
awesome.
you always pre-qualify a buyer before
Yeah. Near and
you.
dear to my heart, baby. Near and dear to my heart.
I know, that's why
Absolutely.
we're friends. But the thing I want to talk about with you today, so you're a numbers guy, you're a money guy, and that's why we get along. We agree, we want to make the most of money that we can. But there's so many agents where I think like the average agent's making like $40,000. They want to know how they can make more, but they don't understand this concept of return on investment.
Right.
So let's talk about that. And just for people out there, like it's not just an investment of money, but it's an investment of time. And how can you get the biggest returns, which will equal more money for you, right?
Absolutely.
Let's talk about it like in the terms of different types of like agents. So, you love this topic. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. I mean, so tier one agents, right? Tier one agents are like 0 to 12 transactions a year. Now, listen,
Yeah,
everyone is in a certain spot.
right.
So if you're new in the industry and whatever else, that's great. You guys are learning. You're getting the feel of exactly what the hell's going on. Can I
Right.
swear? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you could
I
swear.
can swear. Okay,
Or-
okay, good.
We have a warning.
So you can get whatever the heck you guys got going on and figure out life inside of real estate.
Right.
And yet, what I think Jen knows, what I know, and what we've seen a lot of is that first like 0 to 12 transaction is incredibly filled with distractions.
Yes. So
And
many.
and it's because of that that a lot of people don't find the groove or don't develop the habit. Let's go there, right? Don't develop the habit of um, looking at their business like a business and truly making the assessment of, is this really worth my time
Right.
or worth me to invest money in? And am I truly going to see at minimum like a 4x ROI
Right.
on either the
Oh, and
time or the money?
mhm.
Right.
But
So
also they don't have enough time invested in doing the thing to know
absolutely.
if they'll get that. But to your point, do you have the system set up for whatever you're spending your time and your money on to track and measure, am I getting that return? And you want to multiply it by 4 at a minimum. Most
Right.
people say, I mean, Grant Cardone is 10x. So
Right.
multiply whatever it is by 10, your spend by 10.
Yeah. And the only reason why I'm saying it's 4 is because like when you actually look into certain businesses, study Stephen Covey a little bit and what the
Mhm.
research that they've done, healthy businesses in terms of growth years are typically seeing about a 4x, right? So that's why I use
Yeah.
that 4x
So
term.
how can these agents make more money and have a bigger return? Track and measuring, of course.
Yeah, track and measuring. I mean,
That's it, really.
but
And
figuring out, honestly, I think figuring out exactly what is truly going to drive them revenue and
mhm.
having the understanding of what is going to be a true revenue driver versus um, what's not, obviously,
A
but
non-revenue driver.
yeah. So
Yeah.
non-dollar productive activity.
Right.
But
Well, and do
also,
dollar productive activity, really. That's it. Focus on
yeah,
that and focus on, I mean, you preach this like 2 or 3 ways and like that's it. People and then how do you contact them? Track and measure that. And then people
mhm,
you don't know, like minimum.
yep,
That's it. 2 ways.
yeah.
Boom.
And for us, like we inside of Pillar 9, we preach a core 4, like the 4 ways that you're truly going to drive revenue.
Yeah.
That being said, there has to be like, I have to give you the grain of salt with it because you have to focus on the primary way until the primary
Yeah.
way is actually set. And then you can go to
Exactly.
the secondary.
Correct. Okay. So let's talk about tier 1, 0 to 12 transactions. It's truly just
Yeah.
focusing on 1 or 2 of those core 4 ways.
Literally doing more revenue generation activity.
That's it, because you have nothing else to freaking do. Okay.
Yeah. Stop sitting at the damn desk answering the phone. Stop volunteering for that. Stop checking your email because nobody wants to really work with you unless you actually reach out to them because
Okay.
email is not going to come in.
You have no
You
email.
scrolling through Facebook and social media ain't going to do shit for you. So
Right.
step it up.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
All right. Tier 2 agents.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, tier two agents, like for me, that's up to 2 deals a month. And what that looks like really is figuring out that you need to then leverage out your transaction management, right?
Okay.
Like that is the very, very first thing for me that I look at, is how the hell do you get rid of that 16 hours per transaction? That's all administrative work.
Yep.
And it's as easy as just paying someone 250 to 350 bucks per transaction. And that's a
Depending on
pass
where
through.
you are. Yeah. So in
Right.
this one, in this tier two, your 13 to 24-ish deals, this is when you feel like you need an assistant, but you don't. You need a per transaction help.
Yeah. Yeah. I speak with a lot of agents, Jen. I think you're probably the same way, that hit like 15, 16.
Yeah,
And they're like, I can't do anymore. And it's like, you can,
you can.
but again, you're focused on 15, $16 an hour work
Right.
versus your true dollar productive 250,
Right.
300, $400 an hour work.
The
So
reason why you got into the business in the first place, which was to help customers,
exactly right.
not push paper around and talk to title companies.
Exactly right. And
So,
again, it comes down to that assessment period.
so the way that this tier two makes more money is by leveraging out the transaction piece. So paying per transaction so
Mhm.
that they can then take that time and spend it on the dollar producing activities.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not just free time.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
Yes.
you're not just having someone do the other work at $15, $16 an hour and you do nothing and sit down and Netflix it. You actually do the revenue
You have to
generating.
do the generating. Yes. Yeah, so
Right. So
focus.
it's flipping that ratio, right? So
Yeah.
going from, when you look at your dollar productive time versus your non-dollar productive time, or your revenue driven time versus your non-revenue driven time, you're really going from, or trying to make it to the point where, or making effort to get to a point where you're like, at least 40 to 50% of your time is truly driven towards revenue.
Yes.
Whatever that looks like for you.
Right. I would argue too that this is something that I didn't know until we switched brokerages to EXP. But this is also the time when you're starting to get a little bit of momentum. You're feeling like, okay, I think I can do this.
You got a groove.
Yeah, like I'm doing it.
Mhm.
So then it's like, okay, well, you're also talking to a lot of other agents. But if you're at EXP, when you sell, you're also getting stock, which
Yeah.
is a way to get some passive income too while doing the same thing, and a way to say it's like a forced retirement savings plan. And this is a good time to do that. Start that.
So
I mean, the
you're absolutely right. So the
best
tier
in
two,
stock is like,
100%.
yeah,
The tier two is typically when you start to see the identity crisis of
mhm,
agents with independent brokerages as well.
okay,
So because they cross over from never ending no cap
hmm,
to a capped system. Now, people have to understand what my perspective is, inside of a brokerage, and like, I love freaking EXP. It's been the best move that I've made,
everybody
in terms
says
of my
that.
career. And
Hmm.
like, I was a KW guy for years and years and
Yeah.
years, and bleeding red. And I think I still have affinity for the organization.
Hmm.
So I have nothing really bad to say about it. It's just a different, and this fits the business better. And that's kind of where my perspective is every agent's going to be different. Every agent's running their business differently. So the brokerage that they hang their license with needs to support that growth of that business and what the vision is.
Hmm.
Typically, though, what we do see is between that, 13 to 24 transactions a year is, people would end up hitting cap. They would end up making more money on a
Right.
certain cap split at that point,
Yeah.
versus never ending split with the broker.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the number thing. If you're doing this level of transactions or more, and your split with your brokerage is not capped at some point, that's something to look at. Look at them
Yeah.
numbers, do the math, you know?
And honestly, like, if you are with an independent brokerage and you have the vision to stay there, whatever that looks like for you, have the conversation with the broker
Yeah,
and be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Are you willing to do this? Because I'm
right,
producing more and more.
right,
So step up and have a conversation. Negotiations are all part of this real estate
right,
business. They're
exactly.
really.
All right, so let's go to the next level, tier three agents. So
Oh
this
yeah,
is
this is my favorite.
36 deals to, or I guess it'd be 24 to
Yeah,
what?
we're 25, and typically like that ending period is 36. I actually think it goes up to 48 in my
Yeah,
opinion.
somewhere in there. Yeah.
Because there's really not what you're looking at inside of again, that 25 to 48 is really just, figuring out that it has to be more than just you,
Yep.
that realistically, you showing every buyer that you work with is probably not going to work out.
Not going to work.
That you do need to get selective with the clients that you're working with.
Yep.
That you actually do need to maintain relationship at that point in time. And really, when you look at your schedule, it has to be primarily towards revenue generation, which means that everything else needs to be out.
Yeah. And I would say at this point too, you've passed that. I mean, what's the stat? Like all 99% of agents get out of business within the first 3 years. It's not that high. I'm being
Well, so at
straight,
that, I
but
think it's at 30, what is it, at 33? It's either 33 or like 34 deals. They're actually in the top 1% of agents throughout the
yeah,
country.
it's so low. So that's my point. Like at this point, if you're doing this level of business, you're likely have been in business for more than
Right.
3 years. So you've
Yep.
passed this mark. So your confidence is definitely gained, which is why you can say no to specific certain customers, because you're not so worried about, you feel like maybe you don't exactly know where your next business and deal comes from, or maybe you know where a couple of them are
Yeah.
coming from, but you're also not scared that they're not going to come or something, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And so like progression wise, let's just take like one-to-one coaching, right? Like I don't coach anyone one-to-one until they hit a certain number of
That doesn't make
production,
sense.
because it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
You're absolutely right. And this is where I think, like, again, when you look at different coaching companies and what they do in terms of their programs, and I think there's some great coaching companies out there.
Especially 9. No,
Well, yeah, sure.
that's who we
Well,
coached with.
thank you very much.
Yes.
So, it just understand that it is, please don't pay for an accountability partner. Like that's not it, right? Like
Yeah.
the reason why you step into one-on-one coaching is to take your business and truly freaking put a rocket booster up your ass and move.
Right.
Like,
Exactly. Exactly.
So, that tier going to 48, like honestly, like once you hit 48, people tend to get really comfortable.
Yeah.
And then you only have
But let me back up a bit. So like in that tier 3, the way to
Yeah.
make more money is, depending on what your brokerage is, it may be renegotiation.
Yep.
But I also think like you've got to be investing. So like investing, yeah, you have to set up retirement plans or whatever, some type of investment. So a portion of it needs to be in investing of some kind, and prepping yourself for like, okay, when I, want to have a choice.
When I no longer want to sell homes.
Yeah, or I want it
What
to
am
be
I
a
gonna do?
choice to
Right.
sell or not, right? Like we all think we're going to sell homes until we die, and that's fine, but I'd rather have it be a choice
Yeah.
and not
Yeah,
have
absolutely.
to. Okay.
Yeah. So
So
I think in this tier 2, Jen, to your point, you actually, as an agent, you have the opportunity to look at other forms of income.
yeah,
And you said in the investment side, like obviously where I think the majority of people tend to go towards is, okay, well, stock market, right?
yeah. You
The
can do
other way that you guys,
affiliates.
yeah, absolutely. So other businesses, other business affiliates,
Mm-hmm.
and this is like, again, one of the biggest benefits with EXP is how they set up their profit share versus revenue share. So agent attraction is a big one. And if you're doing that number of transactions and you're maintaining a great relationship with agents, it's going to be a natural thing.
Right.
So
Right.
that's a natural next step for the
Mhm.
relationship with agents that you really get along with.
Right. Is to want to do business with them and begin to partner without, and not in the traditional sense.
Absolutely.
Partnering 2.0. I like
Absolutely.
that.
So, and the other piece of the investment is obviously inside of whether it's fix and flips or buy and holds or whatever else, to again look at the what we call active residual income and not just ham selling home income.
Right.
At that stage, like people need to be looking at the hang it up number.
Yeah.
So when am I done? Right? When am I really done?
Right.
And that active residual income is extremely
I like
important.
that, because yeah, this is when your mind is open and creative and you're looking for ways to do this, and you really you should be, because you're now 4 years in, maybe 6 years in, you feel comfortable, like, okay, this is, I really am going to do this and I'm good at it and I can do it and I want to grow and I want to do it the best I can, right?
Yeah. And the gap that I see a lot with again that third tier of agents in terms of production is that they look at it as, this is my revenue, this is my income, and they don't look at it again as a business. And this is why I was saying, like, the majority of the people inside of this tier stay there. They stay there and they're comfortable and they're good, they're complacent,
They
Sorry
also
guys, I know.
start coaching and training inside their brokerage.
Right. Yeah, well, that too. So, and then
That's year one.
revenue-
Wait, that's year one when they've done 2 deals. Then
right.
they're just like,
Oh,
hey,
help us
will
all.
you coach all the new people? Because nobody will do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So, great. So then, stepping into that business sector are the folks that actually look at it and say, okay, well, this is not all of my income.
Yeah,
This is just revenue. This is
right.
revenue that I can now reinvest 10 to 15% into lead generation and marketing. I can reinvest into the market. I can reinvest into other investment properties. It's a different mindset. So I think from that third tier, the evolution and really like the graduation point is the mindset shift to I'm actually running a business and I'm creating something that is sustainable and scalable and predictable.
Exactly. I think that is like a missing piece though, so like how, I guess we're kind of going off topic, but like if people know that they want to do that, but their mind just can't like wrap around that. Like, what do you suggest for like mindset for that?
Talk with someone that's one step ahead of you.
Yeah. Hey,
I mean,
or
honestly,
10.
yeah. I mean, right. It's legit. All you're doing is basically looking and learning from
Yeah.
other.
Like getting their perspective. True.
Absolutely. So, if you guys are at 30 deals and you're looking to go to 48 for next year or whatever that looks like talk to the person who's doing 48 or talk to a coach who's coaching other people that are doing
right
48
or talk to people
higher.
doing 100 or whatever.
Absolutely.
Because I think you're right. Like after about 50, 60 a year and beyond, like up until like maybe 150 or so or even more, you're running a business like a business. Sometimes above about 150 it's like a little bit different animal, right?
Yeah.
I think. But let's talk about two people that do end up taking on like a coaching or training, or they begin to
love
think,
these
hey,
people.
I know they begin to think, hey, maybe I should open up my own brokerage. How can I think there's a fallacy in there that they can make more money doing those activities. And you and I know that is, you actually make less money.
Yeah. Well, and you lose sanity.
Who needs
honestly,
that? We're all insane anyway.
Yeah, that's right. It's really, is it worth the risk? Is the reward really worth the risk? When you put the time and effort and the financial backing towards it, is it really worth the
But
risk?
I think the answer, if most people are thinking this way, that they're thinking yes, because they think that the reward is way greater than it actually is.
That's it right there.
Well, let's like drop some perspective and some reality. So like you're the person that is coaching and training everybody, and for that you receive a portion of their income for a set amount of months, right? Or you're the person that is recruiting and you receive like a portion for whatever. Like what does it really look like? Why am I saying that it's not? Why am I adamant clearly that it's not a moneymaker?
Yeah, so revenue-driven coaches, or percentage share coaches, I won't use some other company terms there, but people that share on the revenue side of the coaching piece. Usually it's like 10%,
something like that. Yeah,
something around those lines. Like if you truly think about it, a $10,000 GCI check is then going to make you $1,000.
Right.
The sad reality,
yes,
is that the majority of people, let's say that you get 50 people in there, and then here's where the pie in the sky goes for these folks.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get 50 people into my program. All 50 are going to close one deal.
Wrong.
Every single month.
Wrong.
And I'm going to make $50,000 a month doing this.
Wrong.
And I'm not going to say it's not possible, but yeah, Jen's hitting the nail on the head. Like it's improbable.
It's very improbable. And if you just look at the reality of real estate, like in general, these people are not going to behave differently than the average. It's just not happening. You have some people that, I mean, for me personally, when I was one of these
in 2021, it's been 6 deals. 6 deals has been the average agent. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when I was like a coach that shared like that, it was for a limited amount of time. Right. So I would get them when they were like kind of newer, and then my contract with them was maybe for 6 months or a year or whatever.
Or up to a certain number of transactions.
So then I would pour into them and pour. Nonstop. And then at the month after our contract ended, is when they sold their deal.
Yep.
It's like, what the hell, man? You know, like
I've done
I
this
mean,
like last month.
right.
Yeah.
Like there was one time, I mean, I remember had coached over 70 agents in a year, over 70. That is
And this
a
is
lot
the real
of
stats. Like
agents.
this is what people don't understand. And it's the same thing inside of opening up a brokerage.
Yep. Oh,
It's
it's
the same
worse because
thing.
liability is higher.
Yes.
Your expense is higher. So like I didn't have my expense was my time, which if I was looking at my return on time, so out of those 70 agents, I think I made about $30,000.
Mhm.
But the amount of time that I took, we also that year sold 126 houses.
Yeah.
If I took that time that I had used coaching those 70 agents, we would have sold 326 houses.
Mhm.
Another 200 houses, even though I have a low commission, are my commission, like, because we live in Ohio.
DCI wise because of average price point.
Yeah.
Right.
So, like, so another 200 houses times my average commission of 45.10. How much is that?
Yeah.
It's more than $30,000.
Yeah. But that's again, that's the comparison that the majority of people don't make, unfortunately. And that again, I think some independent brokerages do really, really well. I think that they structure it really, really well. I think they support their people the right way.
Mhm.
And it's reflective in the compensation that they pay their agents.
Yeah.
That's not the majority though. The
No.
majority are running ragged, exactly what you said. And here's the additional reality to it. It's not just the coaching piece, because the majority of people who are in the position that you're talking about, or again, owning a brokerage that may not be running it the right way,
Yeah.
they're also trying to attract people, and it's not really attraction. It's more so cold call recruiting,
Yeah.
and trying to pull people in so that there's additional revenue coming in for them. So their time is also split
Yeah.
into what makes the most sense for driving revenue. And there is, if they actually look at what the time that they're putting in versus the true return,
Mhm. It's low.
it's
A
low.
low return. Yeah. So if you're, yeah, so how can you make more money? And it's still in this, if you really love coaching and training people, how to make more money is to like, you can still coach and train people, but if you
Yeah.
are like on, I mean, it's just another plug for EXP. I don't know. They did it right. So like for
There's only a few, and realistically, there are only a few brokerages who, in my opinion, are truly going to be long lasting.
Mhm.
So, if you look at how we have, because I happen to be obviously in your downline here.
Yeah.
If you just look at who's in our family tree,
Mhm.
the amount of support and training that we get just from our family tree, let alone
Right.
EXP in general, is simply incredible. And if you look at Pillar 9, so what we're doing inside of my network, and I'm just starting to fly the flag,
Mhm.
and it's
Right.
been 2 years for me
Welcome.
that I've been with EXP. Thank you very much. Here we go. And it's been 2 years for me that I've been with EXP, and I've just been learning, and really my focus has been on growing Pillar 9, figuring out the
Yeah.
programs inside of there, and really getting into that rhythm. Now we've started an ISA company as well, and now that's really just running by itself essentially. So realistically, it's now I have the time. Now I can
Yeah.
really look at this and truly invest into what's really going to make me the most amount of money and build wealth.
Yeah.
So
And so if you're coaching and training, that is partaking in the revenue share model, because it's not only just you
yeah,
coaching and training people, but it's the people that are the best at the thing that the person needs to learn is helping coach and train them.
absolutely.
And everybody financially benefits in a way that is a big return on their investment. So instead of me spending all of my time with 70 agents, we can take those same 70 agents, if they're in our revenue share group, and well, if they're at EXP, it's like, okay, the return is higher because when they
Yeah,
do deals, even if they're not in our revenue share group, if they're successful in doing deals, our stock goes up.
yeah,
My revenue
absolutely.
share check goes up. Like everybody wins.
And that's kind of, if I'm looking at different setups, again, if you set up your own brokerage, please make sure that you have a winning scenario for everyone.
Yeah.
Right. And when I'm looking at, so Pillar 9, with anyone who's inside of my network, automatically gets, my coaching program, essentially the hybrid group,
Yeah.
for free. It's
Yeah.
$197 on a monthly basis
Right.
that is then given to them. And I'm fully vested into
Right.
saying, hey, let's go
Yeah.
produce some more. Let's
Right.
go.
Exactly.
Now that we have the ISA company, that's also
Right.
leveraged.
Nice.
So now people stepping into my network have ISAs who are literally just freaking pounding the phone 3 to 6 hours a day.
Yeah.
And driving business.
Right.
So there's so many different facets to it. And I don't, well, maybe I do. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to come over, that's probably the best bet for you. But,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Call Andy. But I
yeah,
think
really.
if
So
you are setting up oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, go right ahead.
If you
You're
are
probably headed
setting
down
up
the
a
same path.
brokerage, the thing that when I talk to brokerages, their biggest thing is they cannot offer the support. They can't offer the financial compensation. So all you're really doing is training people to leave.
Mhm.
And if you, as an independent brokerage, if your goal is to grow, when you come to EXP, you can keep your brand, because we both keep our brands, right?
Yep.
You can keep your brand powered by EXP, and your agents, you can still coach and train them, but there's no reason for them to ever leave.
Yeah. And that's, again, I
Your
think that's
liability is so much less.
the risk is significantly reduced.
Yeah, because Alan and I were looking at starting our own brokerage, and just when we did the math, I was like, this makes no sense. Like, it's ego. All it is ego.
Yeah. I mean, and again, I think that some people do set it up the right way, but it's few and far between.
Yeah.
Few and far between.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on what your goals are, right? So
Right.
as an agent, if your goal is how do I make more money as an agent, you have to have multiple streams of revenue, multiple streams of income. This is what every business book talks about. So
Yeah.
if you know that, you say, okay, where are my multiple streams of income? And right now, your only stream of income is being a real estate agent.
Oh,
The
God.
best place for you to be is EXP, because just being a real estate agent, you earn money in 3 ways. What other well, there's a couple other brokerages where you can earn money in 2 ways, but like that's it. Nobody has
Mhm.
3.
Yeah. Well, and one is starting to come up. So Real is starting to come around and basically offer the same. I don't
Okay,
want to say the same thing, but it's a competitive.
they have 3. Okay, so
Yeah.
look at those.
Right. Yeah. And like I said, there's only a select number of brokerages, in my opinion, that are truly going to sustain some of the technology advances that are truly coming around. I mean,
Right.
especially with Web 3.0 now hitting, and this is a topic that I don't even want to get into today, but that's here at this point. So
What is that?
oh, I don't. It's
Okay, you
a
talk
whole
here.
different topic. But it's one of those where in our EXP is actually looking at it. So
Okay.
we're already forward facing inside of this, when some of the other brokerages, bigger name brokerages, are still, well, how the heck do we set up a CRM?
Right. Right.
Or how the heck do we set up this? Or
Whatever.
let's launch
Yeah.
this and try to attract new agents in, which is great. But again, look at the brokerage that's going to support your growth, your vision.
Right.
And in my opinion, there's only a few. There's only a few.
And no matter what level you're on, let's get you, no matter what brokerage you're with, what level you're on, let's get you to making the most money you can in the time that you have allotted yourself to do the work.
And have the most amount of fun.
Hello. Have fun.
I just like
play all day. All I want to do is play all day.
Yeah, that's right. For those of you that are listening to this, and your primary source of revenue is really selling houses and hoping that you close the next deal.
Yeah.
Reach out to someone, please. And like I can't emphasize this enough. Like, it hurts my heart to hear this.
Yeah.
So if you guys are in that tier 1 or tier 2 for that matter, and it's literally just, how do I put food on the table? How do I make enough money to pay the bills? How do I make sure that, I have my car payments taken care of? I can keep investing into, God help you, Zillow, or whatever else.
Stop it. How do I make more money immediately? Stop.
Yeah, that's right. Please reach out to someone. Please talk to someone who is one step ahead of you, or a coach who can help you and set up that plan, because you need, in this lovely cyclical real estate market, you need multiple sources of income. And it's not a want, guys. It's a freaking need, because we're headed towards a time. If you talk with people at Wells Fargo, if you talk with people at Chase, watch the REO market start to come back around, baby. Defaults are happening right now. NODs are up. We're headed for it.
Yep. Well, Andy, if people want to learn more about EXP or they're interested in learning more about Pillar 9 coaching, because you're coaching coaches all agents from everywhere,
Yeah.
all brokerages, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
So the Pillar 9 coaching stuff, I'll give you my email, I'll give you the website. And then also I hate doing this, but I'll give the cell too, just in case. So website is pillar9coaching.com. I keep it nice and simple. The email address is andy@pillar9coaching.com. And then the cell, right?
Yep.
So it streamlines things. And then the cell is 203-257-5279. And you guys can, what I would encourage you to do is text me first. And then, if you call me, I'm probably not going to answer again because, I screen pretty much every call.
Oh my God. Really?
Yeah.
Answer your damn phone, Andy.
I'm good. I'm good. Highest revenue generating time possible. I'm not answering my phone, folks. I love you, but that's where we're going with it.
Oh, geez. All right.
This is another episode. Do you answer your phone or do you?
I know we're definitely going to fight on that for sure. I could see. We usually agree, but on this, we disagree.
That's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay.
All right. Well, I appreciate you being on again. Thank you so much.
It's fun as always.
Have a good one.
See ya.